All right, we're going to start Unit 2 now, which is Properties of Matter. We'll start by talking about what matter is, which is a 6th grade review. So remember back that matter is anything that has mass and takes up space. We learned the other day that the smallest particle of matter is called an atom. So everything from the atomic level up, if it has mass and takes up space, is considered to be matter. Matter exists in 4 distinct states. A state is simply the form that the matter is taking at the current time based on the amount of heat inside the matter. If we apply more heat, the state of matter changes. Also remember back to 6th grade that changing the state of matter is a physical change. You're not actually changing the substance at all when you change the state. You're just changing what it looks like, and you're changing the way the molecules are arranged inside. The 4 states are solid, liquid, gas, and plasma. Plasmas will be the one that are new for 8th grade. We'll talk about those a little bit more later. Inside a solid, the molecules are packed very tightly and move very little. We see this box. These molecules, the little blue bubbles, are packed tightly. They can't move. Because those molecules can't move, solids have form. You can feel them. They're hard usually. You can't change the shape easily. Some things you can. Putty, Play-Doh, things like that can change. They're still a solid. But as you move and they become more liquidy, they become less solid, and they actually become a different kind of state of matter, which you'll learn more about in high school. Liquids, on the other hand, move pretty freely and they flow. Liquids will take the shape of the container that they're in. So we see here that these liquids, the molecules in these liquids are inside a cube. They have room to flow around. If we put them inside something that was triangular, they would take the shape of the triangle. They can move all around inside the container. They flow. As you add heat, though, those molecules start to bounce around more and more and more, and they become a gas. In a gas, the molecules are free and will move to fill the volume of the container that they're in. So what that means is that if I put a gas inside this room, if I release gas under the door, that gas would fill the volume of the room. So there would be gas particles eventually in every part of the room. Even in the storeroom, I couldn't go in there and hide because it would come under the door and it would fill all the way to the ceiling because gases move around to fill the volume of the container that they're in. They bounce around a lot. There's a lot of energy inside a gas. Now, to change the state of matter is a relatively simple thing. All you have to do to change the state of matter from solid to liquid, for example, you just have to add heat. So what's going on in this picture is that as heat is added to this solid, the molecules become more energetic and start to flow more, and you get a liquid. If you continue to add heat, the molecules get even more energetic and become a gas, and they bounce all around the container that they're in. If you add a whole lot of heat, like the sun, you get a thing called a plasma. Now, a plasma is when matter gets so hot that it loses or gains electrons, and it becomes made only of electrically charged ions. Lightning is an example. We learned the other day about ions. Remember that ions are atoms who have too many or too few electrons. In the case of lightning, what happens is that the air rubs together, and it generates a lot of heat on a very small level. As it generates that heat, the electrons fly around. They fly off of certain atoms and stick to other ones. So some of the atoms have too many electrons. Some of them have too few. As those electrons bounce around and exchange electrons, they became very, very energetic. And their discharge is lightning. You can buy a plasma ball, which is this thing, at the mall for a couple of bucks, and generate your own plasma. What happens inside there is an electrical charge heats up the air inside the ball and makes lightning, essentially. They're pretty neat. If you haven't seen one, go get one. They're cheap. If you need to rewatch this video, make sure you know about your states of matter. When you think you're comfortable with it, go ahead and take the quiz. We're going to talk about physical properties of matter next.